some song sheets.
I got one of those. What do you need? The lawn candle, the lawn matches?
Oh, we're okay with that. I just need, I'm gonna get a song sheet.
Oh.
Would you like to share some Hanukkah jokes?
Oh, yeah.
What are your jokes? We'll bring it out. Sorry, the print's a little small. I could fit it into one page. Should we start with this and then, or do you want to do it in two minutes?
No, we can start with, I just want to run with the mailing list real quick and then.
All right, we have some Hanukkah jokes to get us started. So, Mark and Mike, you want to come up, tell a couple silly jokes? These are kid friendly. These are kid friendly.
Okay.
Yes. Certainly.
Okay,
Very proud. Years ago, Sinai.
I'll be the straight man,
Okay.
okay? Say, Mark, which hand is best to light the menorah with?
Neither. It's best to light it with a candle. Ba-doom.
Say, Mark, how can you recognize a Hanukkah hippie?
Well, Mike, he's the one with his hair in dreidel locks.
How much Hanukkah gelt did the skunk get?
1 cent. Ba-doom.
What's the best Hanukkah gift for the person who has everything?
A burglar alarm.
And what do you call a speck that falls into the latke pan?
An unidentified frying object.
Why don't we eat clowns at Hanukkah?
Because they taste funny.
What did the candle say when the menorah complained about getting too hot?
Whoa, a talking menorah.
What did the older Hanukkah candle say to the younger one?
You're too young to smoke.
Why was the broom late to the Hanukkah party?
It overswept.
Why are there only 8 days of Hanukkah?
Because 7, 8, 9.
And finally, how many potatoes does it take to make potato pancakes?
A latke.
menorah?
Sure, I'm nervous. Very excited.
I'll do the blessings down here.
So,
Like you start with
That-
the new one.
the new one?
Go this way.
Oh, really? Okay.
All right, so we're going to do the fifth night of Hanukkah, which according to Rabbi Hillel, we have 5 candles. If we were Rabbi Shammai, we would have 4. That means we're almost done the holiday, only if we're on the other side of it. I was doing this for a bunch of little kids. I said, who here is 5? So there's 2 blessings that we're going to do, and we'll do a Shekianu, which is for new things, because this is the first Buffalo Corner reading series that Liz Mariani is directing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim hahem ba'azman hazeh. And then for new things for this glorious first Buffalo Corner on Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. All right, well, I think, should we do a silly song? We'll do one silly song, number 10. So this is about brave Judah Maccabeus. It's one of my favorite little silly Hanukkah songs. Each Hanukkah we glorify brave Judah Maccabeus, who had the courage to defy Antiochus and free us. Yet it is not fair that we should forget Mrs. Maccabeus, to whom we owe a debt. She mixed it, she fixed it, she poured it into a bowl. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave brave Judah a soul. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave brave Judah a soul. Now this is how it came about, this gastronomic wonder that broke the ranks of Syria like flaming bolts of thunder. Mrs. Maccabeus rode in the dough, portions of the Torah, and fried them so they shimmered, they glimmered, absorbing the olive oil. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that made the Syrians recoil. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that made the Syrians recoil. Now these little latkes, brown and delicious, must have hit the spot, 'cause with appetite vicious, all the heroes downed them after their toil, causing in our temple a shortage of oil. 1 latke, 2 latkes, and so on into the night. You might not guess, but it was the latkes that gave us the Hanukkah light. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave us the Hanukkah light. So just a word if you're not familiar about Hanukkah. Hanukkah means rededication. It goes back to about the 2nd century BCE. There was what we often call the Greeks. Here they call them the Syrians. They were divided into various different places. They took over Jerusalem, and they brought their own gods and statues onto the Temple Mount and took down the menorah. And the Maccabees fought them, and here Judah Maccabeus was in charge of that. And they overcame it, and then they had to rededicate the temple and clean it up. And they didn't have enough oil to be able to light the menorah, which would be the official dedication. They only had enough for one night, and it lasted for 8. And so that's the miracle, and that's part of the reason why we light 8 nights. So, and this is, again, the 5th night. It'll end, Sunday night. So let me introduce Liz Mariani, who is spearheading this, and I'll let her take it from there.
Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Welcome to the first of the semi-annual series of the Buffalo Corner, which we're going to have, obviously we're having this one today, December 18th, 2025, with the wonderful Ekayate Bailey and the amazing Vanetta T. Rhodes and Rabbi Alex reading. In July, on Friday, July 17th, 2026, at 7:30 p.m. in the back area with the tent, we're going to have featured readers Marina Blistein and Catherine Hastings. So make sure you put that in your calendar. I'm going to pass around the sign-in sheet. So if you want to be notified of future readings or any goings-on regarding the Buffalo Corner, you'll be sent a newsletter probably no more than 3 times a year. And we are on social media on Blue Sky at the Buffalo Corner, and our email is buffalocorner@protonmail.com. So I'll pass this around, and if you would like to receive updates, just pass this on. I'm going to read a few of my favorite poets this evening. To start off, I'll be reading a couple of my own at the end of these readings tonight. But before we introduce the first reader, who will be Rabbi Alex, I wanted to read a couple poems that I find meaningful. This is from a book called The Vertical Interrogation of Strangers by Banu Kapil. I highly recommend this book. I teach this book at Book of Poetry at Buffalo State. So 12 questions. Who are you and whom do you love? Where did you come from? How did you arrive? 3. How will you begin? 4. How will you live now? 5. What is the shape of your body? 6. Who was responsible for the suffering of your mother? 7. What do you remember about the earth? 8. What are the consequences of silence? 9. Tell me what you know about dismemberment. 10. Describe a morning you woke without fear. 11. How will you have you prepared for your death? 12. And what would you say if you could? Highly recommend this book, The Vertical Interrogation of Strangers by Banu Kapil. I'm going to read 2 more poems. This one is called Washing the World by Anna Marie Sewell. In the dark, in the bitter wind, listen to a dream. Grandmothers stand, shoulder to shoulder, on the rim of a hill. Bend as one and grasp one thing together. Ask them, In the dream world, why do they cry? They will show you in reply. Their shawls of many colors spread these wings, sweep you in, teach you how. Once a year, in the dark of the year, we wash the whole world in a day, for one day we cry, until they're home, until they are all home. From one dawn to the next morning, for the broken wailing, for regrets, love lost, wrong words, wrong actions, unbalanced moments, and all the cracks between heart and heart, parent and child, lover and beloved friend, nation and nation, creature and creature of another kind. And for what we choose and what we neglect to choose, and for what we wish we'd known, for each hand unclasped, tongue unbridled, one whisper falling short of heard. Until they're home, until they're all home. The bread far from the hunger, the apology, the confusion, the broken road. These things we gather in this blanket, bone and sand and sage. We wash the world between us, hold this blanket, fill it with tears. And when we have cried from one dawn to the next, then we will rise and we will dance until they're home, until they are all home. Lay your hands upon the truth of beauty's lost, heavy and soft as moss. This blanket full of tears and dust and dying becomes ocean cradle, healing dark and promise, washed clean by our sorrow. Today crying out, we're birthing tomorrow. Not so much redemption as the law of moon and season calls for justice. One day, the lawmakers must exit their echoing halls, fall in with the grandmothers dancing, carry it, cry it clean, until they are home, until they are all home, until light through their bodies translates to rainbows hung over the land, until light through their bodies translates to rainbows strung over this land, until light through our bodies translates to rainbows shining over our land, until we're home, until we are all home. And the next poem is by former Poet Laureate of the United States, Joy Harjo. It's called A Map to the Next World. For Desiree Kiera Chi. In the last days of the fourth world, I wish to make a map for those who would climb through the hole in the sky. My only tools were the desires of humans as they emerged from the killing fields, from the bedrooms and the kitchens. For the soul is a wanderer with many hands and feet. The map must be made of sand and can't be read by ordinary light. It must carry fire to the next tribal town for renewal of spirit. In the legend are instructions on the language of the land and how it was we forgot to acknowledge the gift as if we were not in it or of it. Take note of the proliferation of supermarkets and malls, the altars of money. They best describe the detour from grace. Keep track of the errors of our forgetfulness. The fog steals our children as we sleep. Flowers of rage spring up in the depression. Monsters are born of nuclear anger. Trees of ashes wave goodbye and the map appears to disappear. We no longer know the names of the birds here, how to speak to them by their personal names. Once we knew everything in this lush promise. What I am telling you is real and is printed in a warning on the map. Our forgetfulness stalks us, walks the earth behind us, and leaves a trail of paper diapers, needles, and wasted blood. An imperfect map will have to do, little one. The place of entry is the sea of your mother's blood and your father's small death as he longs to know himself and another. There is no exit. The map can be interpreted through the wall of the intestine, a spiral on the road of knowledge. You will travel through the membrane of death, smell cooking from the encampment where our relatives make a feast of fresh deer meat and corn soup in the Milky Way. They have never left us. We abandoned them for science. And when you take your next breath as we enter the fifth world, there will be no X, no guidebook with words you can carry. You will have to navigate your mother's voice, renew the song she is singing. Fresh courage glimmers from planets and lights the map printed with the blood of history, a map you will have to know by your intention, by the language of suns. When you emerge, note the tracks of monster slayers where they entered the cities of artificial light and killed what was killing us. A white deer will greet you with the last human, when the last human climbs from the destruction. Remember the hole of shame, making the act of abandoning our tribal grounds, marking the act of abandoning our tribal grounds. We were never perfect, yet the journey we make together is perfect on this earth, who was once a star and made the same mistakes as humans. We might make them again, she said. Crucial to finding the way is this: there is no beginning or end. You must make your own map. Okay, Rabbi, I would like to welcome Rabbi Alex to come up here and read some of his poems. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Liz, for your care and wisdom and for shepherding this wonderful collection. I look forward to hearing the other poets as well. I got to meet with a 99-plus-year-old. She's about to turn 100 today. She's turning 100 in a month. And the amazing thing is she just came up with her second volume of poems, One Good Verse Deserves Another, and she signed my book. She said, to Rabbi Alex, a very human rabbi. A 99-plus-year-old is writing her everything much clearer than I could. It was amazing. So she loves the stars. This one is called Beyond the Stars. What's that? Oh, Gloria Tatuski. Sorry. Yeah, she's a wonderful poet. Beyond the stars, is there a better world than ours? Beyond the stars. Beyond the stars, we do not lose our sons in wars. Beyond the stars. Is there a world where people have a human face, a human heart, and nations have no special place, no special race set apart? Is there a world where children really grow in peace, and there is rest, where pain and sorrow cease? Is there a world where hope can fly on silver wings through limped skies, and people try to learn the things that make them wise? Is there a world where people have no need to hate, and life gives them a better fate? Is there this wondrous place somewhere in space, if not on Earth, beyond the stars, beyond the distant stars? She continues to write poetry and music, which is incredible. And she remembers all of her poems. That's the other remarkable thing. I'm just going to read a few because I want to make sure we get to our central poets here. I'm in a little writing group, and I think we had an assignment. This is about things I learned about snow. How beautiful it is when it first falls, flakes brushing against soft grass, falling effortlessly into tight blocks of white. How it can make the straightest path slippery. Even a little perched lightly on asphalt steps can be treacherous. How it can have pockets of air that when pressed against firmly cave in like through hard foam. How much you hate it at first, burdened by so much cold, layers of extra clothing hanging like shrouds, but how much you miss it when it's gone, even as the first loose grass pushes through the earth a tapestry of green on new lawns. What I learned about snow, that beauty does not always need to be bright, that life does not always need to be warm, that nestled in the small grooves of my still unplowed driveway are the markings of rabbits and deer, birds desperate to find scraps of leaves, buried deep like kernels of candy in a storage of wet, glowing jewels. All right, just a couple more. Let me think. Okay, this is from the summer. I'll go from winter to the summer. I was in Ocean City this summer, so it's Ocean City, New Jersey, 2025. I'm not sure which felt stranger, standing in front of the tilt-a-wheel with my back turned as it made its endless turns, or the foam on the beach that my daughter called whale sperm. Turn your music up just a bit higher and it blots out surprise. We come here every year, but I'm not sure we are ever really here. Watching my mother-in-law dancing with the mummies reminds me of pure joy. How the children raced by as they went from ride to ride, their parents in tow. The ocean was so rough this morning no one could swim. They put up hazard flags and chased away even the hardiest of swimmers. And my children, all three of them, were somehow happy. Maybe that's enough to make everything feel normal, even when it's not. And we'll do one more. This is called The Cost of Faith, and it seems appropriate to Hanukkah as well. And still my daughter wears her Magen David, just as her great-grandmother who survived the war wore around her neck, and the golden ring my wife wears around her finger is a family heirloom. It's hard to have faith when you know where it leads. In the hills of Judah, we made a covenant with God. The promise of Abraham always ends on the losing side. And still my daughter wears her Magen David, just as her great-grandmother who survived the war wore around her neck, and the golden ring my wife wears around her finger is a family heirloom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Alex. So the theme for this evening is light, hope, and peace. That's my understanding. So to keep with that energy, I'd like to make a warm welcome to our next reader, Vanetta T. Rhodes. And then let me read a little bit about Vanetta. Vanetta T. Rhodes, the fly poetic African hip-hop womanist poet and mother from Buffalo, New York. Inspired by the poets of the Black Arts Movement, Vanetta started writing poetry at the age of 8 and began performing in 1994. She was a member of Poetic Voices from 1999 to 2004, Soul Aviation, I Am Poetry Collective since 2002, spoken word and slam coach, and a facilitator of WOW, Women of the World Poetry Workshops. Vanetta currently serves as interim coordinator for the Tuesday open mic nights at the legendary Empty Coffee Cup Cafe. I highly recommend this event, which is now celebrating its 25th year as an official poetry venue in Buffalo. What time does it start on Tuesdays? 7 p.m. every Tuesday. Right behind Canisius. The mission of her poetry is to share messages from the Creator, the ancestors, African culture and worldview, the womanism, and herself, in order to elevate consciousness and uplift humanity. Vanetta T. Rhodes would like to thank the Creator, the ancestors, her family and friends, and all the people who love to write, speak, and or support the oral tradition. Empty Coffee Cup has an open mic poetry sessions every Tuesday from 7 to 9 at 80 Oak Grove Avenue. That's 80 Oak Grove Avenue. And I will include that in the next newsletter. So let's give a big welcome to Vanetta T. Rhodes.
Let me see. I think this is good. No, this is fine. I think I can do it like this. Okay. Well, first of all, greetings, everyone. Thank you for, oh, it needs to be higher? Okay. Okay. Well, greetings, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. This is the second time in my life that I ever had been in here. I was just in here a little while ago to see Liz's bar mitzvah, and I loved every moment of it. But in my innocence, before I share poetry, I want to ask a few questions. First of all, I was happy to hear people start clapping. So, because the poets that came up so far, I wanted to clap, but it was quiet. So you know, clap. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'll even take that. That's great. You know, poetry is life for me. And I have a poem that is not about any politician. It talks about the importance of voting. But before I read that, I don't know if it's okay to read that here. Yeah, is it okay? In the Buffalo corner, we sometimes can get a little political. Get political and all the stuff. Okay, good. I know she can because we go, me and Liz go back about 22 decades or more. All right, and as you heard, I'm a mother. I work in early childhood education for about 30 years. Now I just teach it. I'm an adjunct professor at Niagara University, and I'm also a career coach at Northland Workforce Training Center. But many other things, mother, my mom, daughter to my mom, and she gives me every role that I could possibly do. So, and I love my mom. So I'm just gonna go right into it and share a few pieces. And, you know, if you don't mind, after I read, I might want to ask you what, especially because light is part of the theme, and what is the rest of the theme? Hope, right, hope and peace. You know, what thoughts came to light when you heard them? You know, if you heard peace, you know, what what thought was that? Or a question? You know, I'm a very interactive poet. Okay, this first one is called Vote, Period, and I wrote it years ago. I called my mom and she said, vote, period. She said it feels like the 1960s again. Deep structured racism in the Klan type organization of bad cops and Klan go hand in hand. Repeated assault on man and woman, period. Make your voice count. Period. Be like the 1980s on this November and have more bounce to your ounce like DJs at skating arenas. Let's dance in circles around the truth, cozying tight in the middle, protecting the future of our youth. Period. Vote. Period. A communal reclamation, a one-word nation flying stealth. This time we got you surrounded in a bigly way. Not on this election day, let a motion be carried in the Supreme Court of Human Rights, where your personal is political. All votes matter, so don't believe the hype. Period. Vote, period. Go to the polls, ballot boxes, and post offices. Wear your mask, gloves, and social distance yourselves away from rulers who want monarchy instead of love-based parties. Period. Vote, period. Vote early and vote now. If you don't know, you better ask somebody to show you how. Period. Vote, period. Our ancestors died for this. period. So we can no longer let another lie for this election, period. Vote, period. Vote, period. Vote, period. Vote, period. When it comes to the survival of humanity, there is no other choice, only your voice, period. Your vote is your voice, period. Vote, period. Thank you. Okay, were there any thoughts of light that came? Or questions, or what is it that came to mind? Yes, hi in the back. I wonder why you all are back there. Come on up and join us. Oh, your security. Okay, I feel secure. Okay. You like the rhythm. Thank you. Yes.
When I think of boats
Mm-hmm.
and light,
Mm-hmm.
I think about how if you see the light from a star, it's traveled for many years
Mm-hmm.
previous,
Mm-hmm.
and that the things that we can do with voting, taking action, many ways to create a safe and sustainable place to
Mhm.
live and thrive and grow.
Mm-hmm.
But voting is a way of communally speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and that feels like a burst of energy, like a light that you can see from far.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yes, go ahead.
I really like the period.
Mm-hmm.
What the period kind of suggests is that you know this. It's so, although the poem is like preaching at people, the period is saying, you already know this, so
Mhm.
just, do it.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
just encouraging you. And it reminds me, I did an interview with somebody, and he was constantly saying boom. He would say something, at the end it would be boom, and that's what I was thinking of when you had all those periods. He
Mm-hmm.
would lay something out and he'd say boom, and it had that same meaning. So, well, it's obvious. You
Mhm.
know this. We
Mhm.
all know it. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
was thinking we should have that as the advertisement for voting.
Yes.
But I like how it's your mother's voice that says vote, period.
Mhm.
And then you're taking it on as your own.
Yes.
I
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Sort of your mom is just telling you, go vote, and
Mhm.
then you're kind of taking the message from her. So it's really passing the generation.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. My mom was born in 1945, and the last election, she felt very, very scared. And when I came to visit her, she was almost crying. And she says, I've been through these days before, back in the late 50s and 60s. I've seen this type of, feeling, these, people saying things that I was hoping would never be said again. And so it really sunk into me like, wow, have we really arrived at that once again? And what do we do? So, all right, I'll move on to the next one. Thank you. And yes, please keep, sharing points of light in all of these poems that I share. This one is called Speech Therapy. I wrote it for my son. He's in college now, but he has grown up ever since he was 2 years old. He had to be in speech therapy because he stutters a lot. But he writes poetry, he loves sharing poetry, and now his major is creative arts. Creative writing, he'll kill me. No, it's not. Creative writing, because, that's his mode of expression. Talk to me. I love your voice. Stammer past stuttering, you have a beautiful message, and your voice is as clear as a lucid bell. Martin Luther King has embraced your oration and ordained you as a creator by the same God as he. Speak, baby. I can hear you. I understand everything you want to do. Never stop believing that your heart's desires are at your fingertips and you have everything in this world to grab it. It starts at the proclamation of your speech. So go ahead and have it. I will do everything in my power through prayer to make sure you continue to believe in you. Walk in faith, love furiously, and achieve all your aims. Self-determination is not a game and hustle for this man. It is a necessary ingredient. You must believe in you all you can. Family man, humanity's brother, gentle lover, dedicated son, you are the chosen one, so speak, Wanye. Don't be afraid. Stammer past stuttering. It's the message that counts, not the vocality of the man. Speak, my love. I am listening and I understand. My heart is quiet for you and I will always sit and listen. Sometimes life can move so fast that we actually pass by springtime. I am into the heat, soaking up the sultry sutras of summer sun seasons, accidentally moved too fast and didn't get enough green in. Is everything in life a metaphor? Heck no. My love for you is real. It has no twin consciousness. This is actuality, baby. VH1 can't get with this. No commercial capitalism, no replay or cliffhangers for brainwashing. I don't speak like this often. Therefore, I don't have time for lies. 'Cause every day is a testimony on survival. And I read it every day like the Bible. College educated, but my love lessons are learned from the street of hard knocks. In every way, I've been wrong, beat down, stood up, lied to, stolen from, cursed at, teed off, and literally stepped on. When I was pregnant, I was a stuttering pendulum carrying you in the front and my father and your father in my back. I don't know how I handled myself like that, yet I still, in all my emotional war medals and badges and even shrapnel gashes, believe in a resurrection. I believe in new life versions of misconstrued sacredness. So in spite of bad decisions, I step beautifully in love with you, in faith, in my healing, in grace, in mercy. I accept that there are no mistakes, only revelations. I realize with my real eyes, how cliche, that we were meant to be. God made you for me. And I can't rush past this spring, won't dash through this green. Holy books say patient persistence will yield all good things. So I'll wait destiny to be fulfilled. I now think, and then I feel the freshness of full days in your voice, and decide, hey, I think there's something actually to be learned from the changing of seasons, in the re-rising of the sun within me. So speak, baby, talk to me, stammer past stuttering. You have a beautiful message of truth. Thank you. And the point of light for that for me is that there I was, a woman with a master's degree in language arts. And my son was 18 months and not speaking. And I'm like, what's going on? And I, finally took him to early intervention, got him tested and screened and everything. And they said that he had, needed speech therapy. And I help other children and families get access to services, but for my own child, my brain left my head. I didn't know what to do. And watching him fight to speak taught me the value of being able to have a voice. So, any points of light to share before I do my last one?
Making everybody cry. Beautiful and white, gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Great, of course, while it's a metaphor, like you talking beyond the language,
Mm-hmm.
humor especially.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I learned I didn't know was that in early childhood, more boys seem to struggle with speech difficulty or disfluency than girls do. And I said, wow. But it really can be, I didn't want it to, but it started defining him. And he was feeling upset with himself, But you grow and you learn toward past that. This final one, there's 1.5 that I'd like to share. This final full one, this one is kind of dramatic, but I felt like I wanted to share it. It's a story. It's a story about a woman named Angela Dawson. And Angela Dawson, unfortunately now, almost 20 years ago in Detroit, she was killed, her family, in a fire. A group of a gang threw Molotov cocktails in her house because she reported them. She didn't want her 5 children and husband and family around that element. And when they went in the house and found her, her body she had a baby, and they found her body hovering over the baby, trying to protect the baby. And so that moved me to write about Angela Dawson. It's called A Mother's Love. It's a story. What do you do when words are not enough? When mama shields her baby as the fire surrounds and burns her up. Mama, what would we do without mama? Papa runs to protect, but there is no effect. Gas is a growing line of terror, spreads like a curtain of death. Enclose the family, lays them to rest. Mama, I wrote this poem for you. Mama, without you in this world, what would we do? Mama, I wrote this poem for you. Mama, without you in this world, what would we do? Mama. She put her children in sight and hovered over, whispered that God's protection crushes fields of 4-leaf clovers. Undeniable her strength, non-withstandable the lesson. How to deny the bitterness of life and still behold the blessing. There's a cost to be the boss, but souls are priceless. Barren womb feeling as her babies lay lifeless. We exist in the mess of life, strife, 9 spiritual words in the pieces, but love of born and unborn children in a woman's heart never ceases. Mama, I wrote this poem for you. Mama, without you in this world, what would we do? Mama, I wrote this poem for you. Mama, without you in this world, what would we do? Mama, I feel the heat, baby. I see the fire. Flames untamed surround us, but life is cool, love is cool, thoughts are cool, heaven is cool. Be cool, baby, be cool. Keep still under my breast and breathe. Fall in line with the rhythm of my chest as it heaves. Mama, you did it. I can't believe you tried to save me, Ma. You tried to save me. So God opened his arms and asked you to leave. Leaving to the next world, watching my womanhood unfurl, releasing the poet activist in me to speak your story, Mom, to speak your story. This was a heroine of the hood. She knew that drug dealers were up to no good. She tried to create a jewel in the midst of the jungle. She tried to create sweet life in the midst of struggle. She smelled trouble. She called the police over 24 times in 6 months. They came until Molotov cocktails began to rain, drops of castigation. Rise up, mother, gather up this nation. She would hover over creation if she could, place them back into her womb for safety. Yes, she would. But all she could do was scream, cry, scream, cry, scream, cry, scream, cry. Mama, Papa, 4 children and an infant die. And my question is, why? Mama, I wrote this poem for you. Mama, without you in this world, what would we do? Mama, I wrote this poem for you. Mama, without you in this world, what would we do? Mama, I wrote this poem for you. Mama, without you in this world, what would we do? Mama, Mama, what would we do without Mama? Thank you. And believe it or not, that's a poem of light just to remind you to cherish your mother or mother figures or, surrogate mother, other mothers with you. Any points of light to share? Yes, yes it is, yeah.
I love the line you said, it crushes the word we close our eyes. That's the first time, but I know what you were saying there, I was like, yes. The whole thing was,
Faith.
you make me cry today, Meta.
Oh, no.
You haven't heard your work like this in a long time.
Yes, faith, light can crush anything, go beyond luck and break barriers. Anything, long as we have faith and we believe. So the last poem is just a little bit, I wrote it about my love for poetry. I don't know, it just came to me one day and I said, you know what, write about how much you love poetry. So that's what I did, and that's my last one. It's called Love It. I love poetry, period. That's all, period. No exclamation point. Life's too short to exclamate, punctuate, abbreviate, bracket, apostrophe, mark poetry with questions, mark with poetry, semicolon, asterisk, poetry makes you take risk. Yeah, that's it. Ampersand, person. When was the last time I sent you this gift called poetry? Brackets, backslash, front slash, poetry is a movement like hashtag, colon, dot on top of dot is 2 periods, like a woman who loses control on the page. Ink stains, period. I love poetry, period. Thank you.
What a lovely evening. Okay. Are you ready for some more amazing poetry? So Akaete Bailey was born to create. Akaete has always loved artistic expression, storytelling, and the power of art. She's been writing and performing poetry for over 30 years. Most recently, she launched 2 companies, Butterfly Chief Films, LLC, and Poetry Chief Apparel, LLC. Akaete's greatest joy is her beautiful family, her amazing group of friends, and her rescue dog, Roxy. Welcome, Akaete Bailey, to the Buffalo Corner.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hi. I've known Vanetta for like 25 years. I mean, I haven't seen her like throughout the entire 25 years, but anytime we see each other, it's like family. We were in a group together, a poetry group for a long time. And just to see your poetry, I've heard your poetry since then, but to hear your poetry and your heart as a mother, amazing. Okay, so I have a bunch of poems. Still want me to do 20 minutes? Is that what you said? Okay. All right. I love the kind of asking for feedback, so I may do some of that. Most of my poems are short. Some are a little longer. So I will start with some of the longer ones. America, an open letter. America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Until sickness knocks at the door, slippery slope into the land of the rich with no hope for the poor. America, how can we call ourselves great when human lives have become monetized and the basic right to health care is now big business with stock shares? America, if my name showed up on a patient roster, they might question if I was born here. I was, but how dare I have a name that doesn't fit into their Anglo-Saxon understanding? If I ran for political office, I'd surely have a few fellow Americans demanding that I produce my birth documents. And if I was not born here like all my dreamers, then apparently I don't have the right to expect 21st century treatment in America. Free like the 1%, generous like their tax-deductible giving portfolio highlights on Insta and X. America. Like an emotionally abused lover, sometimes questioning my own thoughts. Do I really feel this way? Knowing I love you, but love should not leave a mark. My father called you stupid, silly, and incompetent. I thought it was arrogant, but now I see how a man who came to a country seeking temporary asylum found out for the first time he was black before he was a man in America. I do love you, but more than you, I love your people and all of our colorful imperfections. Don't tread on me with all of your greed and misplaced capitalism, your right to bear arms when only the arms have no melanin, your innocence before proof of guilt when guilty has been the black face of our generations. America. There's a realness, a freedom in our chaotic existence that I yearn for. In my biracial bones, the beautiful story of hope, like how all of us come from immigrants, even those who choose to forget, and how all people from all over the globe can form a more perfect union if they would just agree to understand. America, please refrain from puffing up your chest. If you would bow with honest humility, we will have more of a chance. As if racism is that crazy uncle no one wants to invite to Sunday dinner, but avoid as you might. He has systemic power. He lives and breathes and never sleeps, finding novel ways to incite fear, to disallow connection, that old American tradition, that fearsome independence. America. The tides have been turning for decades. Somehow we pit ourselves against other countries, acting as savior or villain. There's no in-between. So many of us blind to it, following our leaders like lemmings. America, who's in control? Some of us exercise our right to vote. Some are right to assemble, and so many of us do nothing. That nothingness, a resounding void, proliferating through our great lakes, streams, rivers, and bayous, born of ignorance, fear, or apathy. Maybe that's how this system set us up, with no apologies. America. The one thing we have in common is a mind to do the impossible, a desire for more. You've taught us well. Never settle for what's given. Push for glory. Learn all you can. Start something you alone own. America, were you ever as great as they say? Individuality can only take us so far. One way to live well is to love others well, both inside and outside of these borders, to not turn our heads away from human suffering, to build our communities, to water and nourish our circles, to fully pursue what we've been called to. America, we cry for you while thanking God for you. You chose us by birth, or we chose you. So much to do, so much change and growth to pursue. We won't leave you. The potential you have to right your wrongs, the inherent ability you have to create new songs, the power you have to love as we have loved you, America. That's it.
I love how you spoke about, inclusion, because these days you don't know whether, well, let's put it this way, I believe most of us want inclusion, but the air is trying to be portrayed like it's about exclusion or inclusion. And talk about the borders.
I think the dominant corporate voices in the news reflect the monetary needs of social media companies that want the world to be split into two pieces, and the world is more nuanced than that. And so I feel like your poem is a call for us to return to our humanity.
That's what I was going for. So thank you. All right, this one, anybody else? This one's called She. She was a cultural being, could stretch the name of Yahweh across her chest, tattooing herself a believer. She dwelt within black felt lines and Indian hemp sunrises, spoke little in her tribal language, but innately she could calm the eye of the storm simply by cupping it with both hands. She was a beast, yet still the fairest in the land, a lover of the lion in service of the lamb. Itching away idiosyncrasies from her mind sat in service. She was always digging for more, scratching scabs and reopening sores, because sometimes only fingernails can uproot legacy. And did I mention she was smooth? Smoother than smooth knew what to do with. Way above walking, she flew this oozing truth as she moved it. Never had to break them. She just rewrote the rules. She just was. Before you knew what it meant to have brown eyes instead of blue, before you understood the power of a name and how a wrong mindset could enslave you, she just was. Before you faced the facts that your 5'4" stature and golden caramel complexion would just have to do, before sixth sense intuition was revealed as prophetic vision, before careers and money and what it means to be a woman, before bills, being a wife, and contemplation of your unborn seed, before responsibility and way before need, she was everything perfect in a heavenly being. Soaking in the throne room of God, studying the teachings of the Nazarene, she was in preparation for her life on earth. And when the time came for her to enter Carol's womb, God whispered in her ear, told her all about you, kissed her gently, sent her through. And in 9 months' time, that memory of old etched deeply upon his scroll, that beauty so full, she became my soul. All right, here's one called Community Is Now. If we live here together, then now is as important as yesterday. And tomorrow your smiles are sought out as much as mine. When overcast histories and present day denials threaten, when joy seems to be computer generated, I remember that we live here together, and together is how we are to live. All right, keep going here. This one is funny, I think, slightly funny. It's called Time Can We Be Friends? Dear Time, why do you beef with me? I know you wait for no one, but at least have the decency to give me a playful nudge or a gentle tap on the shoulder. Why are you rushing ahead so fast, smirking while I get older? Do you at least agree that we need to be better friends? We've been through thick and thin. You've been there since the beginning, and even then, your understanding and mine don't align. You are correct. I need wisdom to counteract my emotional side. We're both beings that are in many ways divine, but I was created as an object of affection, and you were created for order and attention. So do we really have to compete? Time, why are you beefing with me? Maybe it's my fault. I can accept that. Like when I say I'll be somewhere at a certain time, and 99% of you laughs, it's fine. Maybe peace is not the absence of conflict. Maybe it's the presence of timelessness. Maybe. I do have a running tally in my mind of all the years I feel you owe me, of all the things I'm going to do, the places I'm going to see, the milestones I get to celebrate. But I wonder, are you on the same page? Will you support me and stay, or will you go away? Yes, Time, we need to be better friends. But I won't put all my eggs in your basket, won't allow you to carry my dreams. They are man-made after all, and since before you had a name, there was one with even more power, more than the rising and the falling of the sun, an orchestrator of divine order, one who knows how to erase and recreate, how to revive and how to renew, one who redeems and makes all things new. I am in his hand, and no one can pluck me out, not even you. So Time, it really is okay. If you continue to want to be this way, I'll warn myself in the memory of what you've taken while looking for the beauties of the yet to comes. Time, I forgive you for being so inflexible. It's even possible that one day we could be friends. And if that one day comes, only you will count each second, while I choose to stay present. I'll define what's important. Like this moment, like this breath, like this.
I have a point of
Yes, please.
really to ask the room, and I'm actually glad I'm here to ask. And whoever, please, ever since I've crossed into the land of 50-year-olds, I find that I think about time a whole lot more. I didn't think about it when I was in my 20s and 30s, even 40s. Like, what is that? Or do you all do that? Or how can I stop that?
Because you have more years behind you than life that you have.
So it's normal to look back, I guess, but not to get stuck back there, right?
You can't get stuck back there because you have to move forward.
Here's a short one. Choosing. I choose to remember being 10 years old, when consciousness was pure curiosity, never judgment. Waiting like a baby bird, mouth open wide for the waterfall of summer. Feasting on joy, jumping in sun showers, pivoting on two wheels. I choose to remember the carefree. I choose to remember the summers I longed for, when life was ripe every morning, when anxiety had no space. Vibrant colors dancing in joyful patterns. I choose to remember my smile. All right. Let's see, what else? So, okay, I will read this one. It's another short one. I missed. I missed that part where your little heart broke by my words when I let them spray like a semi-automatic ricocheting, repeating back what I thought I heard you say, my heart already in tiny pieces. But I loved you so much. I prayed over you, worried for you, protected you. And you couldn't quite feel all that. You needed quietly present, listening, affirming, more than too few of those moments. I missed it. And somehow, I still struck gold. Okay, I'll just read two more. How's that, Liz? Okay. All right, this one is timely, I think. It's called Calling All Poets. Calling all poets, all writers of scratch, published or drafts, journals or keyboard, calling all poets to the virtual floor. Whether you write sonnets or spit free verse, if it's rhythmic or nostalgic, provocative or political, nature-driven haikus, limericks or elegies, ghazals if you know Arabic, please, I'm calling all poets. Hear my one request. Please don't use AI to write your next. I know, AI is the future, I understand. It's a helpful tool, but AI can never replace your individual essence. Consider this an APB. Go ahead and use ChatGPT or whatever's AI and free to draft a business plan, an essay even, but be sure to edit that piece. It's called artificial for a reason. You can use it for function, but it can never replace your voice. Calling all poets, your soul poured out, or an algorithm, it's your choice. Please don't think I'm judgy. I'm just saying it as plain as I can. I'd rather hear your poem about grandma or rosebuds or lost loves written from your hand. I don't care if it's rough without simile and metaphor. I just want what's in you, nothing less, nothing more. Don't let AI speak on your behalf. They say it's just technology, but watch your back. Inventions of man tend to bastardize into neo-souls of their own, jealous like the Nephilim, the created taking from the creator. I'm calling all poets. Want to know your poet heart, all of its lines and curves, cracks and arcs. AI has no marks, too perfect, too empty. Poet, you can recite a poem about your puppy, your kitten, your 8th grade crush. Read me a poem about your pain, your scars. AI has none. Perform a poem about your life, your dreams, your family, your love. Give me you, poet. Leave the manufactured intelligence alone. Last one, epilogue. I remember delighting over you. Chubby round cheeks, dusted with rose, laughing, giggling, sleeping under my gaze. I remember adoring you. I know you cannot remember. But if you're still enough, quiet, open, you'll feel a love that reverberates through time. It's mine. It's yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Akayate. I have a question. The sign-in sheet, is it moved around? Does anybody else need to sign into it? Would the people who signed up also be willing to be on the mailing list of our featured readers this evening? Is that okay if I share your work emails with them? Okay, great. That's great. I'm going to read one poem of mine and then another poem to close the evening, or two poems of mine and then another poem to close the evening. What a joy. By the way, this is a poet's town. And it's not that there aren't towns where there aren't poets doing their thing, but the momentum for poetry in Buffalo is not by accident, and it definitely is a pathway towards our healing and growth, 100%. There are slam poets, there are esoteric, woozy, metaphysical poets, there are new poets, there are old poets, There are poetry events going on in every part of Buffalo and Western New York, and we should feel proud that we keep making this happen. I also want to thank Shir Shalom for keeping the Buffalo Corner happening as we reform, and Joanne for your support, getting everything going this evening, and for Rabbi Alex for his poetry. So, this was actually, this is a poem that I have from my thesis when I was at Mills College. My thesis is called Filament. That was the name of my book. I don't know if I'll ever publish a book with the name Filament, but there it is. So this is on page 30, and it doesn't have a title. It started off as a caption. During the pandemic, I spent a lot of time alone, and because I was living in a Mediterranean climate on a beautiful campus full of eucalyptus trees and rosemary bushes and pomegranate trees, I would take walks every evening and take photos of as many pieces of nature that brought me joy. So, if I love you, I'll write you poetry. This goes for lakes, rivers, skies, birds, planets, cities, movements, revolutions, continents, humans, lovers, and trees. Yes, palm trees. I can't guarantee I'll always write in American English, as I'm returning to the language of my ancestors, but I can promise I'll full time and sob for the future, the best way I know how, just to say thank you. Please be gentle with each other. This shift feels like an open wound. This next poem, thank you. Thank you. This next poem I wrote for my grandmother. Her yahrzeit is coming soon, Carmena Mariani. May her memory be a blessing. This was published in a local publication called Slipstream Magazine, and it's in print only. I do suggest that you submit work there if you are a local writer. The child asks, how do you recognize death? Is it the sound of raptors sliding a festive protractor on flickering twin mirrors? Is it the timed exhales of snow-dusted gazelles lifting their silent necks, grazing landing strips in cities like Toronto and Buffalo, but not actually Toronto or Buffalo? Is it the weight of one collapsing tiger immortalized like sculpture for voyeurs and documentaries and photographs? Is it the lifespan of a paused subtitle cooked in a screenshot, better for the memorizing than the memory? The child asks again, how do you recognize death? How can you insist time is linear? We as a family want to explain what has become of humanity, but there are no words in this language, at least at this time on this planet. We know we are consumers. We consume ourselves. We can tell under this cultural lens, memories are cheaper than they used to be. Even death is folded under our constant taking and keeping. This is the cost of holding everything. We can recognize death by the clasp we are able to release. Maybe we're falling from monkey bars or the womb or the edge of a Navy vessel. Maybe we're challenging our feasted sun, attempting to blot light with our pounding fists aiming for the sky. Maybe we are children holding hand to ankle to our siblings in a chain of resistance. Maybe death isn't death. Maybe there's simply nothing to recognize. I've been dreaming my grandmother's dreams since she died. I've been craving the nursing of newborns, the atmosphere of anise, the fig mud of Gucciarati keeping my feet on the ground, this ground. I've been dreaming my grandmother's dreams since she died. This is a generational relay. This is one way to have a conversation about death. I'd like to close the evening with a poem that I often start my poetry classes with. and it's by Simon J. Ortiz. And it's called Culture and the Universe. Actually, there's 2 poems, but the second one's very small. Culture and the Universe. 2 nights ago in the canyon darkness, only the half moon and stars, only mere men. Prayer, faith, love, existence. We are measured by the vastness beyond ourselves. Dark is light. Stone is rising. I don't know if humankind understands culture. The act of being human is not easy knowledge. With painted wooden sticks and feathers, we journey into the canyon toward stone, a massive presence in midwinter. We stop. Lean into me, the universe sings in quiet meditation. We are wordless. I am in you. Without knowing why culture needs our knowledge, we are one self in the canyon. And the stone wall I lean upon spins me wordless and silent to the reach of stars and to the heavens within. It's not humankind after all, nor is it culture that limits us. It's the vastness we do not enter. It is the stars we do not let own us. Simon Ortiz, highly recommend him. So this is a poem by Charles Reznikoff. It's called Notes on the Spring Holidays, brackets Hanukkah. It's 4 lines. In a world where each man must be of use, and each thing useful, the rebellious Jews light not 1 light, but 8, not to see by, but to look at. Thank you very much for coming to the first Buffalo Corner of the semi-annual event. What a pleasure. Happy Hanukkah. I forgot to mention there's a wine and cheese reception in the back here if you're interested in wine and cheese and schmoozing. Yes, please follow me. What's it called? It's that way? Not that way. It's straight down the hall this way.